शान्तिमर्च्छति द्विशतपरकाये माम् मानिनो भिन्नदर्शिना भूतेषु बद्धवैरस्य न मनः शान्तिमर्च्छति. Synonyms: Dvisata, of one who is envious; Parakai, towards the body of another; Mam, onto me; Manina, offering respect; Bhinna Darshina, of a separatist; Bhutesu, towards living entities; Baddha Vairasya, of one who is inimical; Na, not; Mana, the mind; Santim, peace; Rachati, attains. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. One who offers me respect but is envious of the bodies of others and is therefore a separatist never attains peace of mind because of his inimical behavior towards other living entities. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, two phrases, Bhutesu Vadavairasya, inimical towards others, and Dvisata Parakai, envious of another's body, are significant. One who is envious of or inimical towards others never experiences any happiness. A devotee's vision, therefore, must be perfect. He should ignore bodily distinctions and should see only the presence of the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and the Lord Himself in His plenary expansion as Supersoul. That is the vision of a pure devotee. The bodily expression of a particular type of living entity is always ignored by the devotee. It is expressed herein that the Lord is always eager to deliver the conditioned souls, one who has been encaged within material bodies. Devotees are expected to carry the message or desire of the Lord to such conditioned souls and enlighten them with Krishna consciousness. Thus, they may be elevated to transcendental spiritual life, and the mission of their lives will be successful. Of course, this is not possible for living entities who are lower than human beings, but human society it is feasible that all living entities can be enlightened with Krishna consciousness. Even living entities who are lower than human can be raised to Krishna consciousness by other methods. For example, Sivananda Sena, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, delivered a dog by feeding him prasada. Distribution of prasada or a remnant of foodstuff offered to the Lord, even to the ignorant masses of people and to animals, gives such living entities the chance for elevation to Krishna consciousness. Factually, it happened that the same dog, when met by Lord Chaitanya at Puri, was liberated from the material condition. It is especially mentioned here that a devotee must be free from all violence, jiva himsha. Lord Chaitanya has recommended that a devotee not commit violence to any living entity. Sometimes the question is raised that since vegetables also have life, and devotees take vegetable foodstuff, isn't that violence? Firstly, however, taking some leaves, twigs, or fruits from a tree or plant doesn't kill the plant. Beside that, Jiva Himsa means that since every living entity has to pass through a particular type of body according to the past karma, although every living entity is eternal and he should not be disturbed in his gradual evolution, a devotee has to execute the principles of devotional service exactly as they are, and he must know that however insignificant a living entity may be, the Lord is present within him. A devotee must realize this universal presence of the Lord. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-Janashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayagrupa-kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Udapata-kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan सहगन ललिता श्री विशाखा वितंशम हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Nivasaయ Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaaya Namo. So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha. Today we are discussing a very beautiful subject matter spoken by Kapila Muni to his mother in this beautiful chapter titled Explanation of Devotional Service by Lord Kapila. Devotional service is a practice which gets us close to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if there are activities such as envy, dvisata, as mentioned in the first word by Kapila Muni in this verse, if there is envy, it from takes us away from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And and if you remember in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 9, Krishna mentions to Arjuna, Bhagavan Uvacha, Idam tu he guhyam tamam pravakshami anushuyate. That means, Arjuna, I'm telling this science of transcendental science because you are never envious of me. In chapter 9, Krishna clearly mentions to Arjuna that I wouldn't be telling this to you, but because you are not envious of me, I'm telling this to you. So, what a profound way for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to express that envy is a thing which takes people away from me. So, envy is desiring to own something that you don't have, but others have. So, when you don't possess something you don't have and others have, that leads to anger because you are craving for something you want to possess. And when that thing is not given to you, that leads to anger. And when that leads to anger, when you are angry, you are not in control, you lose your consciousness. Your Forget about Krishna consciousness, your physical consciousness is at a peril. And then when your physical consciousness, mental consciousness, and your spiritual consciousness is affected, that leads to destruction. So it is essentially the envy which starts all this. And Bhagavan Uvacha in 9.1, Krishna beautifully mentions that I'm telling this Bhagavad Gita to you, this confidential knowledge and realizations to you, because you are not envious of me. So Krishna has made it very clear as a principle that envy takes devotees away from the Supreme. And and here in this beautiful verse, Kapila Muni is saying, Dusata parakayama. That means the person who is envious of parakaya means towards somebody else. Para means somebody else. Manino bhinnadarshina bhutesu baddha vairasya namam santim. Kapila Muni uses the word santim. And that's what Prabhupada says, that anybody who is envious of the bodies of others never attains peace. So, if we want peace in our life, if we want happiness in our life, we have to take this envy out of this system we have, whether it is envy towards a colleague, or envy towards a devotee, or envy towards a relative, or envy in whatever capacity. This envy is a thing, is this is like a germ which basically stays with us and it never leaves. And once we take this envy, this germ, this little seed out of our system, everything falls in place. If you think that there is a disease and there is this germ, or there is a bacteria or virus, whatever it's causing it, once you identify the bacteria and you get rid of it through whatever, whether it's antibiotics or whatever the case may be, then you're absolutely fine. Exactly. Envy is that little germ or the little seed which cause all kind of destruction around us. Anger, destruction, lack of consciousness we spoke about. So if we seek happiness, we have to get rid of envy from our system. Just flush it out of our system. We may not have got rid of it yet, but in a fresh uh, day starting today, with Kapila Muni explaining so beautifully to his mother, Devahuti, we can think of getting the envy from our system, because envy will lead to a lot of other side effects, because we are in a situation where we're trying to advance. And as Krishna has proclaimed so beautifully to Arjuna, saying that as you are not envious to me, Arjuna was a cousin brother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Arjuna didn't had any envy to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Others had, actually. Duryodhana had, and that's why, if you see, Krishna chooses the best devotee to impart the most confidential knowledge. So, so when Prithu Maharaj was doing Ashwamedha Yajna to for the betterment of the universe, after he was done with the 99th Yajna, Indra had already done 100 Ashwamedha Yajna because he wanted the pedestal of heaven, and he does the yajna for his benefit. That's one side of it. But Prithu Maharaj was doing this Ashwamedha Yajna for the benefit of the entire universe. So when Indra realized that Prithu Maharaj is doing this, and once he completes 100 Ashwamedha Yajna, he will become very powerful, he stole the horse. Ashwamedha is the horse is uh, the uh, the main focus of the yajna, and uh, Indra came in disguise and stole, because he couldn't withstand. He was full of envy. He just couldn't take it that Prithu Maharaj can reach to where I have reached. Prithu Maharaj has not even reached. Forget about the side effects or the after effects of reaching 100. The sheer fear and envy that somebody will get to you is so, he was so vulnerable that he wanted to create disturbance in this Aswamedha Yajna, and he stole the horse. And finally, uh, there is a different pastime which leads to that. But the fact is, Indra, who had everything, it's not as if you have everything, you are not envious of others. Even if you have everything, you have the fear that somebody else will get to your position, get to your place, get to your situation, and dethrone you. And this instability in the minds of this envy, which was like a kida, like a germ, was actually has caused so many anarthas in the part of Indra, and and Indra is always envious of something or other. He had all the great qualities. He has, that's why he is holding the fort of the heaven. But whenever a devotee of the Lord, Prithu Maharaj was the greatest, one of the greatest devotee of the Lord, he embarks on doing something nice. There are people in this age of Kali, envy is profound in everybody, actually, and that is a very sickening thing in our advancement to Krishna consciousness. And then, as you know, we already went through it in second canto, I think, or the beginning of the third canto. I don't remember now. So Aditi uh, and Diti were sisters, and they were married to Kashyapa Muni. And once Aditi gave birth to kids, Diti, the other sister, was very envious of Aditi. So in envy, Diti requested Kashyapa Muni for union, and that union, we went through it very step by step, verse by verse. That union was at a very inauspicious time. What started as an envy for the sister, because the sister is having kids, and Diti couldn't stand Aditi having kids, resulted in taking harsh decisions and having union at a inauspicious time. And what happened? That led to the birth of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, the greatest demons you can ever think of. This envy, which started in the minds and it captivates you, makes you lose consciousness. At the time, people are very conscious of the position of the stars, nakshatras, and they would do all the good things at the right time. They won't do anything when there is this effect of uh, the the constellations which will lead to a difficulty. Diti was so much blinded by the concept of envy and the effect of envy that led to uh, pressurizing Kashyapa Muni for union, leading to, and Kashyapa Muni also told that this is not an auspicious time, and that led to Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, who created havoc in this world. From our Gaur Leela, we had in the Panchatattva, you see Srivas Thakur on the right. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very fond of Srivas Thakur, and he used to go to Srivas Angan for kirtan. There is to be huge kirtan, ecstatic kirtan, whole night in Srivas Angan. Srivas Angan, uh, Srivas Thakur is the rightmost personality in the Panchatattva you see in our Gaurnitai altar. In the Srivas Angan, there was ecstatic kirtan, and the kirtan was going on, and that led to this popularity of Srivas Thakur and his ability to practice Krishna consciousness and Vaishnavism led to envy in the mind of a Brahmana called Gopal. And actually, as he was a bit shrewd in his dealings, in references in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will see references to Gopal Chapala Brahmana. Chapala means who is always filled with some mischief. He couldn't bear that our Srivas Thakur, who was one of the great devotee of the Lord, and he is professing, uh, you know, 24-hour kirtan. This 24-hour kirtans, what happens right now, in those parts, it used to be called Ashtaprahari. Ashtaprahari means there are 8 praharas in a day, and the Ashtaprahari kirtan is non-stop 24-hour kirtan. And it 24-hour kirtan or 6-hour kirtan didn't start recently. It started 500 years ago with Mahaprabhu ecstatically and Nityananda Prabhu ecstatically performing kirtan in Srivas Angan. So this Gopal Chapala Brahman was very envious. So he, after the kirtan was over, when there was a bit of a no one is there amidst darkness, he put some paraphernalia uh, of the Kali Puja, the Devi Puja paraphernalia in front of the house of Srivas Thakur's house, and then spread the news everywhere that you see this person, Srivas, he is pretending to be a Vaishnava, but actually he is internally doing Devi Puja to gain material benefits. And this news spread like fire, and finally, everybody knew this person's uh, wrong deeds, his envious attitude, and um, and and after some time, this Chapala and this was let go. But after some time, this Gopal Chapala Brahmana from Nadia, adjacent to Shiva's Angan, had leprosy. So where he, this Brahmana who was supposed to be a Brahmana performing Brahminical activities, he got the bout of leprosy, and he was seen begging in the Ganges, in the banks of Ganges. And then he realized his mistake, and then he started pleading to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to forgive him for the deeds he has done by blaspheming devotees such as Srivas Thakur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Gopal Chapala Brahmana that Gopal, you have done a big disservice to Srivas, and you should beg forgiveness to Srivas because you have conducted this heinous act of tarnishing and defaming a a Vaishnava, and and then Chapala Brahmana, Gopal Chapala Brahmana, he begged forgiveness, but essentially the side effects of envy is so much that Lord hates envious people, and he categorically says to Arjuna, "Idam tu he guhyam tama pravakshami anusuyave." It means I'm telling this to you because you are not envious. If you are envious enough, I won't tell this to you. So Krishna, in sense in Bhagavad Gita, that all everything comes from me, right? Aham sarvascha prabhu. So all of us are kids or children of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we have envy, we have internal uh, dissatisfaction, or we can't see somebody's up, we can't, the other person can't see us enough. It basically gives a lot of sadness to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because in his eyes, all of us are his kids. He says, Aham Bija Pradapita in Bhagavad Gita in a different place as well. So when Lord sees that there is this internal envy among the devotees of the Lord, it gives a lot of sadness to the Lord, and Lord hates that. That's why they say envy is is the last gateway to the hell. Is because once we get rid of it, it will clear a lot of other anarthas in our mind. A lot of things will fall in place. You see, there is a problem, there is a bigger problem. But if you solve the bigger problem, the smaller problem is being a subset of the bigger problem will get solved automatically. Envy is one such thing. If and that's where this verse Kapila Muni is saying Santim. That means if you need happiness, all of us, if we need happiness, we have to get rid of this little kida called envy out of our mind. Because envious of the bodies of the others never attain peace of mind. Bhutesu baddha vairasya namanam santim rachati. That means a person who is under the captives of envy. And if we think about it, if we lift ourselves, make ourselves little broad-minded in our ability, and we realize that this pride, this this position is very much temporary. There's not much worth doing this and trying to hold on to this position or wealth or whatever the case may be. And we realize that this is all part and parcel of Supreme, is very easily removable. But we can't let that little thing go. So m- most of the complex problems in life have a very simple solution, but that simple solution we can't really embrace it because of our um, conditioning or our ability to not give up and being obstinate in our ability to recognize something my way is highway kind of a thing. So once you let it go, a lot of things falls in place in its own ways. If you see this envy, if everybody in a community or everybody in a devotee atmosphere gets rid of this envy, everybody will be working cooperatively, which is exactly what Divine Grace La Prabhupada said, that everybody should work cooperatively in my absence in this material world. And once you get rid of it, everybody is trying to help each other, and work is happening in autopilot mode. There is you really do not have to look at, okay, what is the collection people who will do this service, cook here, because there is this inner friction which is causing the outcome to be not good, and so on and so forth. So dvishata santim rachati. So this envy causes us to not gain happiness in our life. And once we get rid of this envy, happiness will keep pouring in. because that is a very small kida we have to get rid of in our lives. And it's very easily realizable if we take to Krishna consciousness every day morning, Srimad Bhagavatam. If it keeps pounding on us, things will happen because thoughts become actions. And when this thought that this envy is the cause of everything, is the miscause of everything, we will take steps because it's getting pounded by our Shravanam every day, and words becomes actions, and that will get into our system, and we will become Krishna consciousness, and we will not uh, be worried about the growth. We will also try to grow ourselves without considering. We are not dependent on somebody else for our growth. Uh, Let them prosper. We will grow, and we all will coherently live a very wonderful, collective, uh, cooperative life to foster our material benefits or spiritual benefits, whatever the case may be. Because here it is not just specifically referring to our spiritual life, even in our material life, if there is envy, quite a lot of these principles of Srimad Bhagavatam applies to our personal material life as well. And then we realize that this material life is actually a very, very small subset of a bigger plan of the Lord, the bigger spiritual life. So everything will fall in place. You will become a better worker in your job. You will become a better devotee in temple. And eventually everything will fall in place if this little kida of envy is removed from our system. This little cancer, which is living in our heart, is causing all the problems. And once we uproot it, throw it out, namanam santi rachati. That means we'll gain santi or peace or happiness in our lives. So, seeking that we all gain peace and happiness, this is a little cancer we have to get rid of. So, with that, I'd like to end here. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
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 Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Krishna
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama.
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Sri Nrsingo, Jai Nrsingo, Jai Jai
Jai
Nrsingo,
Nrsimha,
Praladesha, Jaya
Jai
Padma Mukha Padma Prinam,
Padma Ugram Veeram
Ugravira
Mahavishwam
Vishnu,
Jwalantam
Mahavishnu,
Sarvatam
Jwalantam
Vishnu,
Sarvatomukam,
Shinam
Narsingam
Shanadam
Bhishanam Bhadram Nityam Nityam Namiyam.
Namami.
Nrsinga Bhagwan ki Jai, Prabhupada
Jai,
Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatarubhesya
Vanchakal
Kripa
Padova
Sindhu
Shakripa
Bhavevacha
Sundhavara.
Patitanam
Patitanam Pavane
Vaishnavishya
Vaishnavi
Namo
Namo
Namaha
Namaha.
Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Jai
Jai,
Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Ki
Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari 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 Bol. Thank you everybody. Hari Bol.